Welcome to the Greyhaven's Hour, where we explore the quiet truths that shape Tolkien's world. Today, we step into something strange and sorrowful, the timeless world of the Elves. Because Elvish immortality isn't just about living forever, it's about remembering forever, and that comes at a cost. In this video, we'll explore how elves experience time differently than men, why memory becomes a burden that never fades, what it means to fade instead of die, why elvish realms resist change itself, and why letting go, not holding on, is the only real mercy. If you've ever wondered why the elves are always singing, why they seem so distant, and why they leave Middle-earth at all, this journey is for you. This is more than a long life. This is Elvish Time. Tolkien's elves are immortal, but that doesn't mean they're simply ageless humans. They don't just live longer, they live differently. In the Silmarillion, the elves are described as bound to the world and its fate, unlike men who eventually leave it. They are not eternal in the divine sense, but they endure as long as the world does. They do not die until the world dies, unless they are slain or waste in grief. That means every grief, every beauty, every horror stays with them. A mortal can forget, an elf remembers. Time doesn't heal all wounds for the elves, it deepens them. In letter 131, Tolkien writes, "Elves have a memory, more like to keeping a diary than to retaining impressions." In other words, they don't just recall events, they relive them, in vivid detail, in perfect clarity. This is why loss hits elves so hard, because it never fades. When Finrod dies in the Silmarillion, his death echoes for ages in the songs of the elves, not as nostalgia, but as a living grief. When Galadriel speaks of Lórien's passing, it isn't just the loss of a place, it's the fading of a sacred memory. And she remembers all of it. She always will. And what does this do to a people? The elves grow weary, not because they're old, but because they've seen too much. Every joy they've experienced is eventually tinged with sorrow. Every friend may one day fall, every homeland one day lost. Tolkien explains this through Galadriel's melancholic tone, and through Elrond, who, though wise and noble, carries the weight of thousands of years of war, betrayal, and sacrifice. "I have seen 3 ages in the west of the world, and many defeats, and many fruitless victories." He speaks quietly, as one who remembers too much. Lothlórien isn't timeless by accident. It is timeless because Galadriel wills it to be. She uses her ring to preserve it, not to dominate, but to hold off change, to keep it safe from the erosion of time. But even that is temporary. "I will diminish and go into the west and remain Galadriel." The elves' great tragedy isn't death, it's change. They are so closely tied to the music of creation, the theme sung by Iluvatar, that any disharmony in the world hurts them. They are, in a sense, out of place as the world moves on. The fading of the elves is one of Tolkien's most mysterious and poetic ideas. They don't just disappear, they slowly lose their connection to Middle-earth. They become invisible to mortal eyes, less there even as they remain. In letter 131, Tolkien writes, "As their ages lengthen, the dominance of their mind over their bodies increases. They become unclothed, invisible, they fade, and become a part of the unseen world." This is not a punishment, it's a letting go. The elves don't flee the world because they're selfish. They leave because the world is no longer fit for them, or perhaps never was. Imagine living through every war, every heartbreak, every falling star, and remembering it all, clearly, painfully. That's what immortality really looks like in Tolkien's world. And this is why the elves so often withdraw. Why they build havens instead of kingdoms. Why they sing more than they speak. They are not meant to rule the world. They are meant to bear witness to it. Men envy the elves, and the elves envy men, because men are granted the gift of Iluvatar, death, a chance to leave the world entirely and pass beyond the circles of the world. To the elves, this is a mystery and a mercy. They don't know what lies beyond death, but they long for the release it brings. Tolkien says in the Silmarillion, "It is one with this gift of freedom that the children of men dwell only for a short time in the world, whereas the elves remain until the end of days." Think of Arwen and Aragorn. She gives up her immortality to be with him, not because love conquers all, but because love requires letting go, and she pays for it. And in the end, she laid herself to rest upon Ceren Amroth, and her heart was broken. But still she chooses it. Elvish time moves differently, not just in length, but in tone. In Lothlórien, Sam and Frodo feel like time has paused, not slowed, paused. They've stepped out of history and into myth, into the long memory of the elves. It seemed to him that he had stepped over a bridge of time into a corner of the elder days. That's Elvish time, not a timeline, a tone. And in the end, Tolkien shows us what must happen. The ships leave, the elves go west, not to escape, but to finally rest. To return to the undying lands, to a place where they can be healed of memory, where time isn't a burden. Galadriel, Elrond, and even Frodo, they pass beyond the mortal world, not because they won, but because they carried too much, for too long. The sea calls us home. Thank you for watching the Grey Havens Hour. If you've ever felt time blur when reading Tolkien, and if you've lingered in the stillness of Lothlórien, or wept to the ships sailing west, this story was for you. Tolkien didn't just create elves, he created a different kind of time, one that mourns as it remembers. Leave a comment, share this with a fellow traveller, and subscribe for more reflections on the beauty and burden of Middle-earth. Until next time, may you find peace even in the passing of the years.